So what kind of companies would be affected by higher gasoline and higher oil prices?
Airlines.
Airlines, easy. Trucking, autos. And of course, financials. So those areas of the market have been under tremendous pressure. If those companies are under pressure, what's the first thing they do? They cut jobs. So now you're seeing unemployment drift up. And we're going to see unemployment continue to drift up. So now if unemployment is starting to creep up, how does that hurt you? How does it hurt the stock market? It's bad for the market because if companies cut people, people now don't have a job. People therefore don't buy the same amount of goods and services. They certainly don't go buy cars. They don't go buy computers. They don't go buy cosmetics. Okay? They buy basics. If they're not buying things, those companies that sell those things make less profits. Right? Makes sense? And if they make less profits, then the price of the stock goes down. And if the price of the stock goes down, the stock market goes down. And when the stock market goes down, people don't feel as good. It's called the wealth effect. People don't spend as much money. What our job is during times like this, as an advisor for people like Ted and other clients, is to bring rationalization into the picture. To bring calm to the picture. To talk about history. To talk about precedent. The most important thing you need is history. History that it happened before, it might have been even more serious or less serious, but things have a way of working themselves out. There's no easy way to invest. If you take out the risk, you take out the gain. So if you want no risk, I'm not going to pay you a lot. If you want risk, and you're willing to go after it, well, the stock market historically has given clients and investors about a 10% average rate of return on large company stocks. Historically. That's not guaranteed. That's historically what it's done. Whereas CDs from the bank usually pay about 3 or 4%. But everybody forgets about the key negative ingredient, which is inflation, which I just told you about. So let's just take an example, and let's go down to 2007. Okay? In 2007, the average CD says it was paying 5.35%. The market was up 5.49%. Inflation was at 4%. So you must subtract inflation from any gains you make. So the bottom line is what I'm trying to show you here is that if you want returns that are guaranteed, that are safe, and that you sleep well, then you will get less return than you would in the market, which is a bit more volatile. But you always must consider the third element. So there's safety, there's risk, and then there's inflation. And inflation is as much a risk sometimes as the market. When I tell you that inflation is going to eat away your $100,000 income to being worth only $35,000 of income in 25 years, it's real. But we don't see it. It's kind of a stealth decline, isn't it? But what's a young person to do? How would they even think about getting into the market with all the complications that are involved? The best advice I can give you is the same advice that I gave my sons. You start slow, you have patience, and you leave emotions at home. How do you leave emotions at home? You have to understand the history of the markets. You have to look at things like the crisis times, so you understand that these things do happen. You have to know that the biggest thing on your side is time. Time works wonders in the market. Everything that we're seeing right now might be completely gone 5 years from now. It's absolutely a big circle that comes back and forth. There will be good times. We just had 5 great years. Now we're down again. So the market is very cyclical. What should you do if you just want to be involved? You should look at something called a mutual fund. So if you put in, and some mutual funds start as low as $250. If you put in $250 into a mutual fund, They will buy you all those shares. They'll put $1 in Abbott Labs. They'll put $3 in Intel. They'll put $5 in Walmart. But you would be spread out all along the whole plane of the market. And if you did that, you would also have one of the keys to being successful. You would be diversified. You would spread your risk out. People who get hurt in the market usually plow into one idea. They get real excited about one concept or one stock. But for people that are serious about the long term and want to wake up when they're 50, 60, 70, and 90 years of age, because you're all going to live long, you are all going to live in the 80s and 90s, then you better have some real money there that you don't gamble with. And you start with something called a mutual fund. And obviously you can go on the websites and you can check that out. And you want to look for something, okay, that has a low entry fee and has a track record. And all that information's out there for you. So that's my world. It's entrepreneurial, it's financial, and yet it's caring too, because you have to care for your people and your clients.